everyone, welcome back to Josefina Sienna. I'm Madison. You might see a new face on the channel. Her bangs are covering one of her eyes. But this is a different video from my usual content a little bit. So last night at like 7 p.m. I started to sew and I pulled out all of my sewing stuff. I've told myself that I have been going to buy and sew doll clothes since I started my channel in 2022, and we're headed into 2025. But I want to apologize for the lighting. It's the Pacific Northwest and it is raining nonstop from September until May. So I don't have a lot of access to natural lighting. I am working on my lighting. This isn't even where I used to film down here. This is our dining room table. So if you hear the freezer humming and birds, it's because we have birds on the TV for my cats. Because when we were sewing, they were like, "What are you doing?" and getting up all in our business. And then we turned on the birds on the TV and now they're on the couch sleeping, listening to the birds. So I have a whole bunch of fabric. I have some patterns. Not all of my patterns are in this red box. That's my sewing machine, and this is a skirt that I messed up on, but it was 11 o'clock at night and I didn't want to fix it, and I will definitely show you how I messed up on it. In this red box, I had it for a year now. It's supposed to be for holiday, and we got it on a discount last year. And most of my fabrics I have bought on clearance, just like my dolls. So I either buy them on clearance or secondhand. So I have doll patterns that we're gonna go through and fabrics. I have not made a lot for sewing. I'm in graduate school, I'm student teaching, and then I substitute teach. So I've been pretty busy, and then the weekends I have just been doing homework. There's literally have not been a lot of free time in 2024, which is why there has been a lack of videos. I have Luciana here. She's a whole story in itself. So I can tell the story. Part of me feels bad about telling the story, but I reached out to Mercari to solve the situation and they just said keep the doll. So let me know if you're interested in that story, or I might share it later. Here's a sneak peek of the doll sewing bin. The elastic is a donation from my mom. My mom and my grandma are quilters, so sewing runs in the family. One of my great grandmas was a quilter, so there's already 3 generations. So if I were to pick up quilting, I'd be the 4th generation. And then my great grandma on the other side of the family was a crocheter. So I've been crocheting and sewing, and my mom's like, you have definitely been picking up from your ancestors. So here's the box. I'm a beginner sewer. I used to sew when I was a kid, and then it's been 20 years. So this is a skirt. This is what that skirt was supposed to look like, and I sewed through that slit. And I was like, you know what? She can just have a maxi dress. But it is little lavender thread slit dress. This band gives me the most issues, but most of the time I tried it on Luciana. I can show it on her. I think I'm just gonna keep the skirt and just cover the band because this would be really nice. I was gonna start over, but you know when you start a new hobby and you want to see your progress, so I am gonna keep that. Let me put it on Luciana so I can show you. I don't know if it's the issue with the pattern or me. All 3 skirts, I made 4 of these skirts, had this issue where this part is longer than this. I think it might be me with the hem, but I do not know. So I'm working through it. So here is Luciana in the second skirt. I have been loving these skirts that I'm just like max making them because I love to crochet, and I realize I crochet a lot of sweaters and tops, but I don't have a lot of bottoms. And I like this pattern as a beginner, even though this has been my issue, but practice makes perfect. I chose this fabric because it reminded me of Josefina. I did the waistband a little differently. So this is what it originally is designed to do. I'll show the pattern. And then for this one, I was so annoyed with it, I just made it a little smaller. So, and then this one doesn't have a slit because I just sewed all the way through, but I still feel like it does not look bad. So, but I wanted to show that for 2 out of the 4 that I was making, it keeps, this part right here keeps getting longer, and I'm pretty sure it's just me with my trim down here. Also, I messed up on this one because I didn't cut this on a fold, so I took 2 pieces. So, beginner sewer stuff. Just forgive yourself, learn in the process. It's all good. So this is my little sewing box. I got it from Hobby Lobby when we had our Hobby Lobby grand opening. And then I do have a skirt that I'm in the middle of. So my sister and I, who has a channel now, it's called Mermaids. This is my sewing kit. And I feel a lot more confident in hand sewing than machine sewing, because I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like getting a car. Every sewing machine is different, just like a car, where if you press on the gas really lightly, some will just go and some will just barely move and you have to press on it hard. Like, that's the way that I describe like sewing machines from my experience. I have this shirt that I was working on. I think it was summer of 2024. And something with the machine, I think it was the thread and the machine was just not vibing together. So, it also might be the material of the fabric. I have yet to finish this. I don't know if I will, or I might just scrap it. Because I'm scared that this would look like a skin tone and look like nakedness, but we will see. So I have like no affiliation with Little Lavender Thread, but this was the skirt that I was making. I think the pattern's on Etsy for like $5. And I only printed out the maxi, but there is a mini skirt too that you could do. Like a mini. I like the long one, that's just my preference. But when you buy the $5 pattern, you do get the mini and the midi. So that's nice. This is the only pattern that I have done. I have other patterns. I have been wanting to do this for like almost 3 years now, and I'm just not lacking. It's just adulting has taken over. These are the patterns for the skirt. I haven't put them in a plastic bag because I was using them. And then these are my fat quarters, and we're going to go through them in a second. I'm going to go through all of my fabrics. Maybe in the comments down below, you can share what type of doggle do you want. Do you want like to make clothes? Do you want to crochet? Do you want to knit? I'm going to make a video maybe to do what I would like to do and learn with my dolls. So yeah. So these are the fat quarters. So a fat quarter is like they give you a, let me guess, is 18 inch by 2 inches of fabric. And these are an excellent size for making the skirt that Luciana is wearing. So if you want to get into sewing but on a budget, this would be something that I'd recommend. You might be a struggle to make a whole dress, but for the skirt from Little Lavender Threads, these are the perfect amount of fabrics. So these are my patterns, and then the other 2 were fat quarters as well that Luciana was wearing. Just like the tan skirt, this is another Little Lavender Thread skirt that I was in the middle of. I started this in the summer of 2024. I would like to finish this before 2025. This is hand sewn. So I still wanted to sew doll clothes, but my machine was acting out, having missing parts, so I was hand sewing. So that's another thing too, is it's more time consuming, but you can also hand sew doll clothes as well. The only thing I don't like is this is shorter than these, but I believe if I remember correctly, I was running out of fabric. So you could always like make these shorter hem, but yeah, I am really excited. I have another handmade skirt and it was on my Instagram, so I will share the photo here. This is our generation Mirabelle with orange hair, but we have a cat named Maple, and I felt like that was too close, so her name is Peaches. Oops, I forgot a fat quarter. This is a purple one. I have this big bag of patterns. My mom has been the only one to use it because it wasn't last year, 2 years ago, she used it for a Christmas gift. So, and if you see this little thing unmarked, it has a local address, and for privacy reasons, I don't want YouTube to see it. That's just me. So, I will go through these patterns. I hope in 2025 that I can be good enough in sewing to understand these. So here are just 3 of the many patterns. My mom bought the Harry Potter. I got the Sewing for Dummies one from a thrift shop, and it said uncut for $1. And then I believe I got the pajama one either at Joann's or Hobby Lobby. So with these patterns, we were iffy if they're gonna fit American Girl. So I do have like some thinner dolls. I got the first one from a Hobby Lobby. I got my Bitty Baby at a Goodwill for $7. So I had no clothes for her. So I think mentally that was more for my Bitty Baby than my American Girl doll. Well, she is an American Girl, but like 18-inch doll. And then the one for McCall's in the center. I believe I wanted an Our Generation doll, and I did not know what happened to them for the longest time. I wanted to get one in 2024, but the company was not on Amazon anymore. And then right around Christmas time, they came back. But the last time I saw them was before Christmas of 2023. So I don't know what's going on with Journey Girls. I think I said Our Generation, but I meant to say Journey Girls. So I think they're back. I think they're just changing distributors. They were through Amazon, but now they're through Macy's. So I think they're having distributor problems. I am just assuming, I'm not an expert. And then this is what my mom found at Goodwill. And she saw this little doll in the red. And she's like, Samantha! Because my mom, for some odd reason, can only remember Samantha. But Samantha's like complexion is most similar to mine. So we're still gonna try this pattern. But she looked at the bag and she's like, oh, we can make a travel bag for your dolls so you don't have to buy one from American Girl. And I was like, ooh, that's tempting. And it can be in like this fabric, similar to Luciana for Josefina. So that's what I'm thinking is Josefina Sienna, because Josefina is my #1 girl, make a bag with that fabric. So here are 3 patterns. This one got stamped in my local region, so if this one's covered, excuse that. So I got 2 out of the 3 from a thrift store and 1 on sale, because sometimes Joann's does the $1.99 or $2.99 patterns. So like my mom will like tell me, hey, patterns are on sale. Want to look for doll ones? And I'm just like, okay. So this one's from a thrift store. I did not pay $8 for it. I think I paid $1. And there's Molly and Kirsten. So I think it's an older pattern. This one's a newer one. My mom used this one because she looked through my patterns because she was visiting before she moved back. And she was like, oh, I like this one. Do you have any fabric? So literally I paid for it, but she made it, if that made sense. And then this one, the McCalls, I just love the historicals, and I don't have Marie Grace's meat outfit, and part of me was like, some of these meat outfits are really expensive on the secondhand market, and so I was thinking of trying to find their era of clothing and sew it and make it color appropriate to their era. So we'll see how that goal goes. But I just saw someone on AGIG say this one looks really similar to the Addie dress. And now I'm just like, okay, sold. We might make Addie's dress. So, yeah. Then we have the last two patterns that are formal patterns. This one says right here, fits 18-inch dolls. And this one says GOTS. I think this underneath says Pleasant Company. I could be wrong. So that's why I bought that. It gave me Samantha Schoolgirl vibes. And then we have this one. This one's unopened at all. Nope. But, my mom does not like the boy my life has. Don't know why. But I really wanted these jackets. And I don't think it comes with the jackets. That's okay. We'll learn. I think she gave this to me. It has t-shirts, so we're trying to make pajamas for Jammy January. My sister is. So I will tag my sister down below. I have this big thing of elastic for my mother for doll clothes. I've been sharing with my sister because I think it would take years if I were to do this because the skirts don't require elastic. So yeah, we got that. And a whole bin of fabric. Like, look at this. I also have some cross stitching in there, but I hoarded some fabric with intending to sew, and we know adulting sometimes gets in the way. So I don't know what this fabric's for, but it's in a protective case. I also share my bin sometimes with my sister and her projects, so our cats wouldn't get into it. So I'm assuming this is one of my sister's projects, but I don't know. It's just white fabric in here, so maybe it's not to get mess on the white, but then I have white on top, so I don't know. But here's a sneak preview of some of the fabrics. So during the fall, Hobby Lobby and Joann's was having a really good fabric sale. So these came from Joann's. They were on top, but the next is going to be a Hobby Lobby haul. And then when I refer to the Joann's haul, I'm going to bring those fabrics back, but these two fabrics were included in the Joann's haul. So one is very like satiny and the other one is like a quilter's white. And the plan for this white is, you know how a lot of people were complaining on AGIG and AGTube about black and dark and transfers on fabrics to their doll. And so I was thinking, if I'm going to start sewing, I'm going to make a white inside, like sew it together with my pattern so I could avoid dye transfers at all costs. And if there is a dye transfer, it would go on the white fabric versus my doll. So that was my thought process. So this was around September 2024. Yeah, I kind of hoarded fabric. I had intentions, okay? So this is my Hobby Lobby fabrics. They were on sale, I believe, for $2 per yard, and I got a yard because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with them. But I wanted like a cottagecore theme for my doll's wardrobe. You'll see that in a few of the fabrics. So I really like this one and this one, but I like them all. I've been really into florals lately, as well as like cottagecore. So you'll see a lot of that. There are some fabrics that I have in this bin that I had since 2022. So again, I'm showing this here if you guys are interested, but also maybe to hold myself accountable too. So I have had this for years, before I even started doll collecting, and I did not know what I wanted to do with this. This is going to go on the top priority of fabrics I use. I'm thinking of trying to find a summer pant idea because I feel like I get a very summer vibe with this fabric. But this came from my mom. So my mom's a quilter and a sewer, and sometimes I get some fabrics from her. There's not a lot in this bucket just because I did have some fabrics from her and my sister just didn't have the budget for some fabrics, but she wanted to sew. So I gave everything my mom gave me to my sister. So, because I had the funds to buy my own fabric. So, yes, my mom has given me some fabrics. I just kept this one. This is probably the only one I kept. And the rest went to my sister. So, yeah. So this is from Joann's around the same time, like literally the same week as my Hobby Lobby fall of 2024. I have the ghost ones and this one, so you can tell it's fall. I just never got to it. But I really like these fabrics. Again, I'm very much into this cottagecore aesthetic. And then I'm trying to find more fabric, and it's like, Maddie, you already have all this fabric. Excuse me, I hiccuped. But people have been putting their kits in chicken dresses, like dresses with chicken fabric. And I don't have a kit. My sister does. But I have a Ruthie. And yes, Ruthie is higher socioeconomically. But I was like, it would be so cute if Ruthie and Kit had chicken dresses. And then that was inspired by Nezzy Dolls, if I'm mispronouncing that. She had a Our Generation doll in a chicken dress. And then she had a Our Generation doll in a cat fabric dress. And those have been living in my mind rent-free. And so those fabrics are definitely in my mind. But now I'm scrolling through the Joann's website because they're having their like end of the year sale. And there's some Christmas fabrics. So like I barely buy fabrics full price. I did not buy that full price or that full price. So I just wanted to let you know, like everything I have bought, it was not full price. So that's another thing, is you could start your sewing fabrics via sales because it can get really expensive if you buy things full price. So I would say like be patient, look at the website, make a wish list. I don't know if Joann's you can make a wish list, but I know on Hobby Lobby you can, and just see those sales. Hobby Lobby is pretty much really good and better with sales. But there's some moral issues that some people have with Hobby Lobby, which I totally respect. My issue is I lean more towards Joann's, but my budget is like Hobby Lobby, if that made sense. And then living in the rural is a whole nother story. So here is more of my Joann's haul. I was expecting this to be like quilter's fabric, hence to read the description. But I was in my butterfly kick with like the old other green fabric that had butterflies. I was like, ooh, this is cute. I'm still gonna find a use for this. But this is mesh, and I believe, now that I'm remembering correctly, that's why I bought the white fabric. So it would go underneath this. But I have cherries and more plants. Again, florals, cottagecore type vibes with my dolls. And you might notice, so the next few fabrics are going to be coming from 2022. I did not buy any fabrics in 2023. 2024 I tried to, because I was sewing a little bit more, and so I wanted to get some fabrics to have a stockpile. So then, because my earlier issue is I only had a few fabrics and I wasn't in the vibe to sew. Don't know if that's just a weird thing for me, but you definitely want to vibe and you want to enjoy the fabric and the project that you're making. So I got a few to fit my aesthetic. I am really bad with fitting with an aesthetic. Here are some more fabrics from 2022 from my mom. So I forgot I had these. Again, florals. This was before I found out that I liked the floral prints. So this is kind of, I think, the two fabrics that started the florals. So these are around 2022, literally February of 2022, when I started my doll channel, I was pretty ambitious. I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn to sew. Learning to sew has been on my wish list and resolution list for years. And so I'm tired of like looking at the stack of fabric and being like, oh my gosh, am I turning into hoarding? Which most likely I am. So these are just a few of these fabrics. I don't know where they're from. I don't remember. They're from a few years ago. The goal is to use these fabrics within 2025. They have been sitting in this, they used to be sitting in a different bin, but this is my fabrics. And this one was intended for Kaya. And then this one I just like, wow, these are cute. But now they have glitter, so I don't know. This one was for in solidarity of Ukraine in 2020. Was that 2022 or 2023? I think that was 2022. And then this one, these two were for February. So I think I'm gonna get to these two first. And then I know My Joann's has different colors. They have like a navy and a yellow in this on sale. I might film a video of picking that up, but this fabric has been on sale for like 6 months in My Joann's. I got this in 2022, but I just haven't picked up the other colors, and I think if they're still available, I'm gonna do that today. So the bin is looking empty. Before, this was like my fabric bin. This was my crafting bin. So I had all my crochet stuff, but my crochet collection has also gotten quite huge. So I will show you what's in here. I remembered I had this in the box last night, but then I put it on the counter. I brought it out. I have these knitting needles, and on top of sewing, I want to learn how to knit because I didn't film on AGTube, but I watched a lot of AGTube, and there's this video from Just a Dream Studios that I like binge watch over and over and over and over again, and it really inspired me to start sewing again. And that was her video of all the doll clothes that I made my dolls, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like, she can make doll clothes. That's so resourceful. Like, if you're on a budget and you already have the yarn, you can knit. If you have the fabric, you can sew. So I will link that video down below. I'm recommending a lot of videos. Go support other AG tubers as well. Like, that's the message that I want to give out, is not just support my channel, but the community. There was a comment by someone, don't remember the name. I'm really bad with remembering usernames for people that I don't watch consistently, which I will try and be better about that in 2025. That said that the AGTube community is dying, which, me watching content, there's not many people uploading, and I feel guilty that I wasn't part of the, like, I contributed to that mass people not uploading in 2024. So yeah, that's something I think is somewhat true. I think there's still people uploading, but when I was a kid with Steven's Wanda Dancer, it was only her. But I know in the 2010s, there was a lot more people. So go support other doll collectors, not just AGTube, just so we can keep the community alive and active so we don't dwindle down. So yeah, that's a little tangent that I went on. So these are the last few things. I have an embroidery set. I used to learn to hand embroider in 2022 during the summer with Dollar Tree kits. I haven't hand embroidered since then. So it's been like almost 3 years. This is cross stitching. My sister's into latch hooking, and I watched that and I was like, I'm 90% sure, because I like crocheting so much, that I would like latch hooking and punch needling and knitting. And I'm just like, uh-oh, I am getting into various hobbies, and my wallet's like, oh no. And then I have 2 extra fabrics at the bottom. So I bought this when Roe v. Wade was overturned, and I kind of want to make something really soon about that. And then this one just reminded me of Kaya. I think I got this when I got Kaya, which is pretty sad. I've had these for years. So what I should do is rearrange my bin, because these were at the bottom, and put my older stuff at the top and my newer stuff at the bottom. But we will see. I have a surprise for you. I still need to get around to what I got for Christmas. No, I didn't get any dolls besides treating myself, but I got doll stuff, and there is something associated with this, with my doll clothes, that I will show in a video. It's probably going to be a super short video compared to this one, because I didn't get that much doll stuff. My family and I, we did a budget Christmas because inflation and everything. So I will say I liked the budget Christmas, like just $25, that's it. I enjoyed it. And then instead of spending tons of money where we all went into debt buying Christmas gifts, we spent time together. So we played games, we watched movies, we had dinner together, and I will say I enjoyed that a lot more than just spending a lot of money, getting people fancy gifts. So I hope you enjoyed. Don't mind the mess. We have board games in the back, so like we're trying to be better as a family to do board games, but this is what Luciana is looking like before I put everything back in the bin. I hope you guys have an amazing new year. What skill or goal do you have, or resolution for the new year? And yeah, mine is sewing, knitting, maybe just crafting for my dolls instead of buying, because I'm guilty of just buying instead of crafting. And I don't know how to tell someone through a screen, but like there's so much sentimental value to making and spending time with your doll by sewing. So hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.